This is Ben Ingram from the Atlanta Braves Radio Network, and you're about to go riding with the Braves, brought to you by Chevrolet. See who else is joining us today. Riding with the Braves, and today we're joined by Spencer Schwellenbach, and we're riding in the Chevy Corvette E-Ray. This thing's got 695 total horsepower. This thing can boogie a little bit.
Yeah.
Pretty cool ride, isn't it?
Pretty cool. It feels like we're in a spaceship.
Yeah, we can take off in this thing. I mean, this is quite the ride. Well, thanks for joining us this morning. This is a lot of fun. This is an opportunity for us to visit with you and kind of catch up with you about everything that's going on. And here's where I want to start. If I had told you, let's go back 5, 6 years. Let's say you're 18, 19 years old. If I had told you you'd be a starting pitcher in the big leagues, what would your answer to that have been?
Yeah, I probably wouldn't have believed you at all. For a moment there when I was that age, I didn't think I was ever going to pitch again. Just being that I went to Nebraska and was strictly playing shortstop, had a little elbow issue going on, and honestly wasn't even really thinking about coming back to pitch. And here I am now. I mean, wouldn't trade it for the world, but yeah.
So was pitching originally what you wanted to do prior to little elbow issue?
I wanted to do both.
Okay.
For as long as I could, and I knew at some point that someone would tell me, "Hey, you got to pick one." I was just trying to give myself the best chance to play either, whether it was the infield and hitting or pitching. And when I got to my junior year of college, I realized that I should give pitching another chance and give myself a better chance of being drafted high. And ultimately, we made the decision that my longest career path was on the pitching side.
Right. Well, but you got to do both a little bit at Nebraska. A lot of shortstop at Nebraska. What did you learn about doing both in your college days and how challenging that was to be a shortstop and a closer as well?
Yeah, I learned that it was the most difficult thing. Like, if you want to be a two-way player, like, you got to put in double the work.
Yeah.
It's like getting in your swings, getting in the ground balls, getting in, your arm care and your bullpens. You're trying to work on pitches as well, but also monitoring your throwing, because during the week as an infielder, you're throwing to bases, you're, doing cuts and relay stuff, and you got to monitor that stuff, especially if you're going out and throwing a couple innings on the weekend. That was the toughest part. The coaches are really good with, if I was feeling a little tight or sore the one day, then the whole infield would do no throws, or the whole infield would, do certain things to help me out to be able to recover.
Grew up in Michigan. How'd you end up at Nebraska? What went into that to that decision?
Yeah, I was a big Wisconsin Badgers fan growing up, and they don't have a baseball team.
Okay.
So going on visits and stuff, I wasn't really huge fans of Michigan or Michigan State, but went on a lot of visits there. Really liked their program and the coaches, and ultimately I just wasn't really like in love with Michigan or Michigan State.
Right.
And so I was going out and seeing what else there was, and Nebraska was another one of the teams that wanted me to play shortstop and pitch. So I went on a visit there and loved the coaching staff, loved what I saw, and they're going to give me a good opportunity, so I took it.
Yeah, great opportunity for sure, and a great program. Coming out of college, how did your pitching arsenal differ then to what it has become now? Because it seems so much deeper now.
Yeah, I just had a fastball, throw it as hard as I could. Didn't really care what it did, if it ran, if it cut, if it sank. It didn't really matter. I was just trying to throw it as hard as I could. And then was throwing this like slurvy slider curveball mix pitch that I don't even throw now. Like,
Right.
It was just something that moved left and down. And my changeup was my better pitch in college. Just felt like I was able to really pronated, and so I only had 3 pitches there, and only, I was mainly like fastball, honestly. Just
Right.
felt like I could throw it by guys, so I would throw it all the time. But now it's like I feel like a totally different pitcher in the way that my arm moves, the way that the ball comes out of my hand. I used to I used to run the ball a lot, like
Uh-huh.
sink, and now it's like I'm a natural cut guy now. And
Right.
I don't know if that was from Tommy John and kind of coming back from, learning how to throw again and kind of just took that route with it, but that had to have been what it was because, with that supinated release and the cut spin stuff, you can throw so many pitches off that, and I've kind of taken full advantage of that.
Yeah. When did you develop the splitter?
Last off season, so 2023 off season, I was, working out with Shay Shanneman, who's gonna be in Double A this year with us, and we were just playing catch and working on different pitches, and I realized that my changeup wasn't as good as it was in college because I wasn't able to pronate it as easy. And so I remember AJ Smith-Shawver was talking about his split changeup that he threw, and a couple other guys who had a good split change in the MLB that I remember watching videos of and different pitch grips. So grabbed the ball, threw one, and absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
And from then on, it was like, yeah, that's the pitch I got to be throwing. I just got to master it. So it went 2-3 months just figuring out the release, what it should feel like, and started throwing bullpens here, and it was a really good pitch for me, and kind of went on with it last year.
The fun thing last year for me watching you every 5 days, it seemed like every start, it's almost like you had a new pitch every start.
Yeah.
It was like you're just picking up stuff on the fly. I'll try this today, and boom, it's getting swings and misses. Going from where you started last season to where you are right now, what have you picked up on? What have you developed? And is that an exaggeration to say that you just kind of decided to start experimenting with different pitches and all of a sudden they were there for you?
Yeah, I decided that I wanted to come into spring training the previous year with whatever options I have. If they say, hey, we only want you throwing 4 pitches, and I'm already throwing 6, then it's easy to just take away 2 rather than come in with 3 or 4 and they say, I don't really like that pitch. Like, let's try something else. And then it'd be a surprise, or trying to start something new with, a month or 2 before the season's going to start. So I basically, just gave myself every opportunity to have as many pitches as I could. And once I got called up to the big leagues, it was like, let's use all of them. I don't really care right-handed batter, left-handed batter, early in the count, late in the count, like, use the pitch.
Mm-hmm.
And, I think this year, with having thrown those 6 pitches last year and having a year under my belt, it's more like, how can I master these pitches? How can I understand the feeling of what it feels like to throw it to the left side of the plate or the right side of the plate, and get certain results on pitches? And I'm feeling pretty good with where I'm at currently.
Yeah, so a 6 pitch mix. And that's the thing, is it's not just throwing them, but you're throwing them for strikes. I mean, anybody can just go out there and throw multiple pitches, but what are you doing with them? And it seems like you are locating with all 6, and that's much easier said than done, isn't it?
Yeah, I think just taking advantage of the bullpens and catch play, like really focusing in on a target and setting your sights and coming out with a plan and making that plan work. It's just, I think playing shortstop for a long time really helped me because you got a 120-foot throw rather than a 60-foot throw, and trying to hit the first baseman in the chest, and it really helped me with, once you got on the mound, it was like, oh, that guy's so close, I can hit that target.
Mm-hmm.
So
So
I feel like
throwing to a catcher is a lot easier.
yeah, I feel like that's where the command has kind of helped me out a lot.
I want to bring up something that I feel like people that do what I do talk about all the time. We talk about innings and innings limits and can a guy handle a certain workload. And before last year in the minors, I don't think you'd ever pitched more than 80 some odd innings. You go to 123 innings last year. Is that a tangible thing? Is that something that people make too much of, taking on a significant workload compared to previous years? And how did you handle that workload?
I definitely think it's something to think about because you got, especially me, I threw 31 innings in 2021 and I threw 65 innings in 2023. So, I mean, I threw, like you said, 120 something in the big leagues last year, but 168 total. And I felt better last year than I have my whole life
Mm,
throwing, 40 or 50 innings in a season. So it's just understanding the workload, monitoring it, but also understanding when your name's called, like, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to pitch.
right.
And then after the game, you have a plan. Like, what are you going to do arm care wise or strengthening or working out or whatever it is to flush that stuff out. So by the time you're hitting the mound again, that you're feeling good. And last year we had a really good routine and followed that up pretty good and thought it was a really good year. And hopefully all the innings limit talk is out the window now and can just go and compete.
Yeah, it's really encouraging. And it's also encouraging to hear you talk about feeling how you felt last year, pitching all those innings. And I'd imagine doing that, having that workload a year ago, you're feeling even stronger now for 2025, aren't you?
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely a good year to build on and finish the year healthy and take that into a good off season and do exactly what needs to be done to repeat that.
Speaking of off season, when was the first time you picked up a ball to throw this past off season?
I think I took a month off. Um, so probably somewhere in beginning of November, maybe.
Okay. And I'm sure you've had lots of time to reflect on what 2024 was for you. I think the fascinating thing to me is you were on a pitching staff with Chris Sale, Max Fried, Charlie Morton, Reynaldo Lopez. And I'd imagine you're spending a ton of time with them and gravitating to them. What all did you learn from those guys? How instrumental were they in your young tutelage in your career?
Yeah, I learned a lot from those guys, and it was an honor to share the mound with them. Just to watch them pitch, was one thing, but also to learn from them every day. There's different things I learned from each guy. Like Charlie Morton, he's a wise man. He's played the game for a long time. He's a great teammate, great friend. Kind of took me under his wing there at the start, and really allowed me to feel comfortable and just understand that I can ask questions. Like
Right.
it's not a burden on them to answer questions. Like they want to help. And then Chris Sale, like he would watch a lot of my bullpens and if I know I've said this before, if I threw over like 15 or 20 pitches, he would get on me. Like, dude, you don't need to do that. Like you're a strike thrower. Just get in what you need to get in and be done. Like don't overdo it. And after a couple times of him saying that, I was like, yeah, I probably should do that and tried it out. And my arm actually was recovering a lot better. Just getting in 10 to 15 really good throws versus 30, semi good throws. And then Max Fried, he's a great, he's great with the preparation stuff and scouting report stuff. And, he knows the hitters better than anyone. And so just asking him about certain tendencies and what to look at with hitters and because he was a good hitter himself too,
Yeah.
so like he knows what hitters like and what they don't like. And yeah, that was a big thing with him. He helped me understand like what I needed to do to prepare for a game and attack hitters. And yeah, that was and Ronaldo, just watching him pitch and compete, I kind of felt like it was the same. We kind of had the same thing going on with reliever to a starter, and not so many innings, and then throwing a lot of innings and just learning as we go. I think that was what we were both doing, honestly,
Yeah.
and just following his lead with that.
Well, with all that you learned last year and the guys that you were around last season and going into this season, and given what you've accomplished, do you feel older than 24?
I mean, yes and no. I still feel like I'm pretty young with pitching. I've
Hmm.
really only been doing it for 2 years now, fully. But also feel like I grew a lot last year with certain pitches and with mentality and just maturing on the mound and as a player and teammate, and feel like that year helped me a lot and will help my career going forward.
You mentioned shortstop in college. Do you miss hitting?
I do miss hitting. I think I miss playing the field more. I
Yeah.
mean,
Which are a great fielder. You
yeah,
made a play the other day down here that was terrific. And
yeah,
anytime there's a ball hit back your way, it's like, well, there's an extra shortstop on the field.
yeah. I mean, I love going after the ball. When we do PFPs on the backfield after catch play, it's like they try to mess with me and throw a different situation out and watch me just run after the ball. It's like, guys, if the ball's near me, I'm running after it. I don't
Yeah.
I don't care. But yeah, I do miss hitting, but when you see these bullpen arms come out of the pen and they're throwing 190-mile-an-hour sliders, and it's like I don't think I'd be even come close to hitting that. So it makes it a little easier sitting in the dugout watching.
What was your biggest base hit as a college player?
So we played against Arkansas in the regional in 2021, and I had a base hit to either tie the game or to go down by one, and then we ended up tying the game, and I was also pitching that game, so I had either like the scored the tying run and then pitched the last 4 2/3 of the game,
You're
or it
like
was
Babe Ruth in that game.
something. Yeah, that was a really tough game. They were the number one team in the nation, and I had just threw 30 some pitches 2 nights before and played shortstop the day before, and just a lot going on, a lot going through my mind. It was a we lost, we went home type of
Right,
game,
right.
and so yeah, that was one of the fun ones for sure.
Yeah, those are great memories. Talking about your abilities as a fielder, fielding the position. I know that any pitcher who wins a Gold Glove would take a lot of pride in that, but it sounds like there'd be an added element of pride for you if you won a Gold Glove one day,
Yeah,
just because of how good of a fielder you are and how much pride you take in it.
yeah, I think that's one of the big goals that I had, and even in college, I think they have the college Gold Glove, and that's an award that would be so awesome to win. And seeing Chris win that last year, and Max Fried has a couple, and kind of want to be added to that list, of the great, Greg Maddux, the great, Braves fielders that have won
Right.
Gold Gloves.
Won 18 of those
Yeah,
things.
that's wild.
Isn't that unbelievable?
I mean, just playing 18 years, let alone winning the Gold Glove,
Yes.
that many of them.
So this staff this season, I know we're all excited about it. I mean, between you and Chris and Reynaldo and getting Spencer Strider back, I mean, it seems like if this staff is healthy, you're capable of accomplishing anything you want. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think that's a you know really good take on that. We're really excited, especially when Strider comes back. We watch him throw on the backfields and facing hitters, and getting really excited for him. He's worked really hard, and then just seeing Chris and Ronaldo build from last year, and then hopefully making that jump myself. And then we got a lot of guys who can step up and pitch in the fourth and fifth spot in the rotation that we're all really excited about.
And you don't have to verbalize any of these things, but when you go into a season, I'm sure there are some guys who are strictly, I just want to win, team
Yeah.
goals, that kind of thing. But I'm sure it's hard not to have individual expectations of yourself, whether you share those or not. Would you say you have a long list of goals that you have for yourself individually this season?
I would say it's a short list, and kind of learned the hard way in college with setting goals that have quantitative results and with like different stats and stuff, because you know, if you feel like you have a good season, then you go back to your goals and you say, oh shoot, I didn't make that goal or that goal or that goal, and then it's like, did I have a good season?
Right.
And, you know, it's like I want to be able to stay healthy. That's the main goal, and I think 200 innings is a great goal for me to have this year. To take another step with building on that, and you know, see where that takes us.
Well, we're certainly pulling for you. We know you're capable of that and more. And I'll just say this personally: watching you last season was one of my favorite things about 2024. Your progressions and seeing everything you accomplished. I cannot wait for the 2025 season. Thanks so much for having
Thank you.
us,
Appreciate it.
joining us here today in the car.
Thank you.
Spencer Schwellenbach.